All right, so today is a more or less a review of proportions. We are adding in a couple concepts that we did not learn before break, but it'll be mostly review. Okay, so the very first concept actually that we're going to look at is more or less a new concept in that we are actually going to write our own proportion and then solve it. All right, so to write our own proportion, we have to consider that we have to write two ratios that are equal to each other. So we read the first sentence. It says, each day an elephant eats 5 pounds of food for every 100 pounds of its body weight. So I need to set up a ratio for these values. Does anybody have an idea of what ratio you would use to set it up? A comparison between the pounds of food to the pounds of body weight, Janie? 5 over 100. Okay, or I could do 100 over 5, right? It's still a comparison, and it doesn't matter. So half of you might choose 5 over 100, the other half 100 over 5, and both of them would be correct, as long as your second ratio is written comparing the same thing top and bottom. So in the first ratio, I did food over body weight. Everybody agree? 5 pounds of food over 100 pounds of body weight. So in the second ratio, I must again do food over body weight. You see that? So I could flip it and do 100 over 5, but then on the other side, it has to be 9,300 over F. Could I use a different variable? Absolutely. You can use whatever variable you want. All right, now at this point, I need to consider what method I'm going to use to solve my proportion. I would suggest to you that, you first look for a missing link. Is there a clear connection between 100 and 9,300? Yes. Yes, there is, and it's 93. So 100 times 93 is 9,300, so 5 times 93 is 400, and yes, so Talmadge hit it right on the head when he said pounds of food. You must label, and the label tells me that you understand what you were solving for. So you understand that this value is pounds of food. Now think about this in terms of real life. 465 pounds of food a day. That's an insane amount of food. I would not want to be the zoo worker that had to feed the elephant all of that food. Okay, but, I mean, it's a big elephant. 9,300 pounds is some pretty serious weight. Okay, so anyway, it's just kind of interesting to think about that. All right, but do you see what we did to set up the proportion? We did food over body weight equals food over body weight. We're comparing the same thing top and bottom. You guys see that? All right, so we'll do more of that in a minute. But now I want to kind of switch gears over here to equivalent ratios. All right, we're not going to do many of these because we did learn this before Christmas break, but I at least want to do this second one right here. 4 over 7 equals x over 35. I want you to try to find the missing link and then solve for x. All right, so what's my missing link? What's my missing link? 5. So make sure you show that work. X equals 20. You have 2 of those on your homework. Everybody good? Who got it right? X equals 20. Okay, very good. The second method we're going to learn is algebra. In order to solve using algebra, you can, again, the variable has to be in the numerator, and you can use the same method that you use to solve equations, meaning that you multiply by whatever number is connected to the variable. You guys remember me saying that like a million times before, in first semester? Yes. So whatever number is connected to the variable. So let's look at this first one right here. All right, so what number do you see here that's connected to the variable? 2. What number is connected to the variable? 12. It's in the same ratio as the variable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply that fraction by 12, and that cross cancels it, not to 0, but to 1. So now x is by itself. That's my whole goal. But whatever I do to one side of the equation, what do I have to do to the other side? The same exact thing. So now I multiply 2 over 8 times 12. Can I cross reduce?
Yes.
What can I cross reduce?
8,
8 and 12 down to 2 and 3. And now 2 times 3 is 6 over 2, which is what? 3. So x would equal 3. All right, I want you to try the third one now. All right, now on the third one, you might say, well, I can see equivalent ratios. There's a whole number missing link. And you are correct. And it may be that on your homework tonight also. But your homework will specifically say to use algebra to solve. So you must show the algebra method in order to get credit for this problem. So what did you multiply both sides by? 84. Where'd you get 36? It's whatever number is connected to your variable. Okay. And then multiply this side by 84. All right. Can I cross reduce anything?
Yes.
7 and 84 reduces to 12. So then x equals 48. X equals 48. All right. Who got 48? You got 48. Okay, did you get, Wame, I know you did the second one. Did you get 27? No, 27 would have been the correct answer. No, it should have been 3 times 9 is 27. So multiply both sides by 36, yes, but then, yeah. Okay, so that's algebra. All right, so we've covered 3 concepts so far. Writing our own proportion. Does everybody understand how to do that? Comparing the same thing top and bottom. We're about to do one more of those. Solving using equivalent ratios and solving using algebra. All right. Give me 1 sec. Go ahead and turn in your books to page 277. Page 277. We're going to do number 8. On page 277. Page 277, number 8. This is another problem where we need to read the scenario and write our own proportion and then solve it. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and work on page 277, number 8. We're going to do one more of these. So what's the first ratio that you wrote? It said, you know that 3 pizzas are enough to feed 12 people. Ooh, pizza sounds good right now. I'm hungry. So how would you write that ratio? 3 over 12. Okay, don't get fancy with it. Just write it as you read it. 3 over 12. So I went pizzas over people. You see that? So now in the second sentence, how many pizzas will feed 28 people? Does 28 go on top or bottom? It goes on bottom. People goes on bottom. And then P for pizza. You could do that. So now you have 12P. I'm sorry, we're supposed to do algebra. Technically, you're going to be able to use whatever method you want. So since we're still pretending that we have not learned cross products yet, let's go ahead and solve using algebra. All right, equivalent ratios, there's no whole number. So what would I multiply both sides by if I were to use algebra to solve this? 28 both sides. On your homework question tonight, guys, I don't care if you use cross products though. It's fine. Okay, can I cross reduce that? 28 and 12? Yeah, I can cross reduce. All right, that's a 7 and this is a 3. So 7 times 3 is 21 over 3 equals P. Well, can I reduce 21 over 3?
Yes.
Yeah, P equals what? 7. All right, who got 7? Who got 7? Okay, good. All right, questions on that, guys? Setting up your own proportion. Everybody good with that? Okay, so now we're going to get over here to 6.3. Okay, and 6.3 starts off with another proportion. So now we've worked 3 of these. Hopefully it's really starting to kind of set in. Wait, it doesn't start off with one of those. That comes later. But we will do one more of those. All right, so in example 1, and this is something that's also new. We did not do this before break. Determining whether or not two ratios form a proportion. All right, it says determine if they form a proportion. So what I want you to do is go ahead and write these two ratios as you see it on the screen. 9/51, comma, 6/34. Go ahead and write it exactly how you see it on the screen. Okay, and then either next to those ratios or beneath it, I want you to show the cross products, what you would multiply if you were using cross products. So, as you remember, cross products is multiplying diagonally the values. So 9 times 34 and 51 times 6. If you write 6 times 51, that's the same thing. Okay? 9 times 34 and 51 times 6. What you're doing is you're multiplying the cross products, and if the product is the same value, then your answer is yes, they form a proportion. If they're different values, then your answer is no. So go ahead and multiply these two numbers and tell me if they're equivalent. 9 times 34 and 51 times 6. So what value did you get when you did 9 times 34?
306.
306. What did you get when you did 51 times 6?
306.
306. So your answer is yes. You must say yes or no, because again it says tell whether or not. So you have to actually answer it. This is your work, your proof, but this is your answer. If all you say is yes or no, then all you do is just flip a coin, right? So the 306 equals 306 is your proof that you actually solved it. Go ahead and do the next one, okay? So remember, once you multiply, and again, I want to see what you're multiplying, so you need to write the multiplication part, but once you multiply, then you need to answer yes or no with those values, with the products. Okay, so 12 times 50 and 20 times 32, 600 and 640? No, very good. So I put a line through the equal sign. What that means is does not equal. Okay, so you have an equal sign line through it, it means does not equal. All right, and that's what you would do. So 3 steps on your homework. Original problem, show what you multiplied, box your answer. And even me laying that out specifically, I know I'm probably going to have a couple students who still don't follow directions, but that's not going to be any of you, right? Okay, so make sure you do that. 3 steps. All right, very, very easy. Then you're going to have a couple problems where you're solving using cross products. Okay, and they give us a scenario where we need to write our own proportion, and then we're going to use cross products to solve. So I want you to try to set up this proportion. This is now the 3rd one that we're doing together. So, we'll see how much of it you can do on your own. Okay, so what did you write for your first ratio?
0.7.
Yeah, okay. Oops, hold on. I'm having a malfunction. Okay, 0.7 over 2. So you did centimeters over weeks equals, so does 14 go on top or bottom?
Top.
Centimeters over weeks. So now it's 0.7 W equals 28. Divide both sides by 0.7. And what do you get?
19 weeks and 6
No,
days.
you don't.
40.
40 weeks.
Oh, that's so close.
40 weeks. Okay, and again, you've got a label. I don't know. Did you divide 28 divided by 0.7?
No, I multiplied.
Well, that's your problem. Okay, so 40 weeks to grow your hair 14 centimeters. All right, if you understand that, that is everything you need to know for our proportions review.
Blue's Clues.